Um, we'll be live here in a second. All right, Water Rate Advisory Committee meeting part 2. We're live.
Thank you, Mr. Piper. So we are back after some technical difficulties with the remainder of our Water Rate Advisory Committee meeting. So we've just reviewed the slide deck for both the water rates and the sewer rates. Did we have any questions on either of those before we proceed?
Yeah, just a quick one. So essentially, if we're doing like 2% and then 2%, so essentially we're raising 4% total every month, or is it just how does that work? I'm new, so I'm sorry.
That's all right. You want me to answer that, Councilor Pritchett?
Oh, please.
Yeah. The average is still 2% of the bill. So the bill would only go up 2% if we increase each 2%. If we did like 1 3% and 1 2%, then the average is actually more than 2%. But that's a great question.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Councilor Hutchinson? So you had your hand up. I wasn't sure if you.
If I'm reading this right, if it's a 2% increase, it's roughly $2.50 a month for your bill.
Yes, if you're including the increase in public safety fee and the sewer fee and the water fee going up 2% each.
Okay.
And I can share that screen again. I'm going to open it up in PDF if that's all right.
Sure.
So I have to go. Apologize for the delay. I have two similar screens. One is the actual meeting screen, and one is the meeting screen in the studio software that we're using. And I'm waiting for the studio software to catch up. It doesn't seem to like that switch over.
Like that.
Yeah, it's still stuck at the. So I'm not going to start up the stream. I think what I want to stop is the actual studio. All right, can everybody see that on your end?
I'm seeing that, yeah.
All right, and now that should be showing up in the YouTube channel. Let me check it.
This point, those.
Okay. All right, looks like we're live on YouTube again. All right. So here's a 2% rate increase on the individual parts of the utility bill and the effects.
Are there any additional questions related to this? This being the 2%. Do you guys want to see what it would look like with 3%, or do we have those numbers? It would just.
Sure. So a 3% increase. Here's the results if we raise the rates 3%.
And then somewhere in between, if we were going to do a 2 and a 3 or something along that line.
Right. Then, yeah, it'd be somewhere in between there. So 2.5. almost 3 3/4.
So I guess I'll throw a question out there, Mr. Piper, related to the sewer project, that nearly $15 million price tag, 14-15, seems pretty big, and I know that we would incur, and there would be a loan for that. Is the 2%? You feel comfortable that's going to cover that enough, or I guess I'm just trying to understand. It's just big price tags make me wonder if we need to be considering 3% instead of 2%. So
Yeah, that's comfortable. I did a 30-year mortgage at 2.5% and kind of calculated the STC's paying part of that 14 million, so we're down to 12 million plus 2 million in capital reserves, get us down to about 10 million. So we'd be financing 10 million over 30 years. We're probably looking at what we're looking at right now at the water treatment plant, about 450 a year, 450,000 a year in debt service payments.
And currently, we're paying out how much in debt service?
Currently, right now, we're only paying 104,000. Well,
104,000. So
yeah,
that's a big change.
Yeah. Sorry, that's water.
I would hate to come back later and realize that we had not increased it enough, and then do like what you say, where we have to bump up even higher. So we just have to kind of keep that in mind as we set the rates, possibly this evening. That
right, there's a good chance, and I mean, as you can see, are we still okay? We're in sewer, so as you can see, our debt service we can afford. When we get to that point. We're probably we're probably looking at that 3% increase, because if you're talking a $450,000 a year debt service payment, then yeah, it's going to take that 350 plus the 104 to get to the 450. Mm-hmm. So that's an excellent point.
I'm sorry, Councillor Medina. I think you were trying to say something, but your mute kept going on and off. So.
Yeah, sorry, my little click button here is having issues. I'll come back to it here in a second.
Okay.
So yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3.
I'd be interested in hearing the thoughts on that. If you have any, Councillor Medina. I'm kind of leaning more towards the 3% on the sewer. Just that's my leaning right now. But I'd like to chat about it a little bit and see what others are feeling.
I can understand that completely. I think, but right now also we have to keep in mind that every dollar we're raising to the people right now during this hard time is $1 to them. So we really have to take that into account. It might be easier to raise it a little bit more, a year or two, whenever down the road, versus right now at this time. So that what's really gonna be best for them. So I'm still kind of weighing in between right now, between that 2 and 3 for the sewer. But I'm leaning more towards 2 just because of that fact, where it still gives us that, towards that figure, but at the same time, we're not giving them another almost $4, increase in their bill.
Yeah. And not that I think it's more. So I'll throw in there the public safety fee. I see that that's accounted for. I doubt that we're going to see any increase in that. I don't think we'll be doing an additional deputy, but we don't know. So there is that public safety add-on that I always think about. But I tend to think of the water rates first, and then the safety fee add-on as being something that we consider the water rate increases into the public safety, if that makes any sense. So what I mean by that is that our primary purpose is to make sure that we set proper water and sewer rates, and then the public safety fee can kind of consider those rates when they if that makes any sense.
Right.
Actually, the rate for the public safety fee is not set by the Public Safety Committee. It is set by the contract amount,
Oh,
the amount that the contract goes up.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Changes to that, that's something the committee works on. As far as like the level, like you said, the level of service might change it, but as far as the actual increases contract, and I think that 2 to 3% rate change. I haven't had a chance to talk to Sergeant Denham yet, but typically those increases year over year are based on the cost of labor, and so this typically is you're going to see like that 2 or 3% increase from them. So it was a pretty best guess as to what we'll see on the public safety side. But I'll get a hold of Sergeant Denham and get more of a definitive answer.
Okay. Well, like I say, I don't know that that'll affect us too much here. I just always keep that in the back of my mind, knowing that there are the potential changes there. But other thoughts, questions for
Councilor Prochu? I just want to address Michelle Amberg's question. She had asked it before we had our technical difficulty, and I want to get back to it.
Oh, please do. Yep.
The focus has been on the sewer plant, but we do have a development at the airport that is going to require some sewer treatment, and that development could lead to future developments at the airport. Something that we've been looking at for quite some time, and now we have a developer who is real serious and would like us to get that on a Renco system, that's a brand, a standalone sewer treatment facility at the airport. It would treat their water, their sewer water, and also we want to expand it out to service the entire airport. That's an additional cost I don't have in here, so we have to keep that in mind. We are going to look for financing options again through the IFA, and maybe there's some economic development money out there for it, but we're not sure. I'd have Michelle Amberg speak to that. She's more of an economic development expert than I would be. Michelle, did you want to add to the Renco system at the airport?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, instead of referring it to as a Renco system, we'll call it a standalone sewer treatment system, because that's what it is. We don't know exactly who's going to provide it at this point.
Right.
And I can't, it's a little premature right now. We have received a $8,000 grant for technical assistance to actually draft out what that system's going to look like, but we don't know yet exactly what it's going to cost, or we don't even know where it will be. We think we know where it will be put on the airport footprint, but we're not sure yet. So it is still pretty early, but it will be a significant cost that will come out of the sewer fund.
Very good.
So what's the purpose of the standalone system at the airport?
To provide sewer treatment for the airport.
Just specifically for airport?
Yes, we wanted to connect it to our sewer system, and we looked at it as part of our sewer treatment plan update, and we do have plans for that. However, we've run into some problems with, it's on the east side, and the east side has its own system, and that system is not in fully compliance with DEQ, so we cannot connect to that system. And this looks like it will be a cheaper alternative in the long run anyway. So that's why we're we're going with this standalone system. Otherwise, we'd have to bore under the freeway to provide service through our system.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there's definitely some projects coming up, and money to spend, or that
Right.
will need to be spent for sure. So I keep that in the back of our minds. So at this point now, I don't know. Are you done with your presentation, Mr. Piper, or did?
Yeah, unless you all
Okay.
have any questions, any more
Do you
questions
have
about?
question? Now is your time. I see we have Cliff. Do you have your hand up there? Somebody's. I think that's Cliff.
Yeah, I do. I thought I'd just maybe add a little context to that standalone sewer system at the airport. That's going to be in the range of $700,000 to $800,000 project. So that kind of puts a price tag on that system. And then Jim can correct me if I'm wrong. I was sitting here just doing a little bit of math. If you did 3% on the sewer and 2% on the water, the change to the water bill would be just a hair over $3.
That would be the difference between $2.44 and about $3 if we were to do.
And the $3.66.
Yeah.
So it'd be closer to that $3 amount.
67, 1.5.
Okay, thank you, Cliff.
Yeah, that's looking about right. And then yeah, that's about right. And then we don't know exactly where the public safety is going to land, but
Okay. And I see that Mr. Carmichael has his hand up too. Steve?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to make a motion hearing how how this is spinning out. I would move that we recommend to the city council that the water rate be set at 2% and the sewer rate at 3%.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor for that. So is there any discussion, any questions, any thoughts? Do we have a second possibly?
Councilor Prechu,
Yes.
if I might add, we also need to talk about the bulk rate as far as like a percentage. So just to clarify, when you say water increase 2%, does that also include the bulk rate? Again, remember the bulk rate is set based on the ideas that we're covering the costs of service. So it's the revenue and expenditure formula is still the same as far as cost to serve. And last year we had a separate meeting on it just to kind of break out what that cost would be. But going forward, I think it's just a percentage increase to cover the costs.
And it's the same percent increase that we do for the regular rates.
Yeah, with the water. So I just want to make sure that's clear when we go to write up the actual resolution.
Okay. So we have a motion for, I think if you want to revise that motion just to include the bulk rate, Steve, that would.
Sure, that would be fine.
Okay. So the motion is the water rate increase of 2%. That includes the bulk rate increase of 2%, and then the sewer rate increase of 3%. That's the motion.
That's it.
Okay. Any discussion, thoughts, questions before we?
I mean, I'm still probably, I don't know, I'm still sitting on the, just doing it like 2, 2, and 2. I mean,
so the way that we can go with this is that if first we'll see if we have a second. If somebody wants to second this, if we don't have a second, then we can put another motion on. So do we have a second for this particular motion? It doesn't sound quite like we do. So I think that kills it right there. So from there, we can make another motion if someone wants to do that, or we can revise this motion. I guess we'd have to make it in the form of a new motion.
All right, so let me try this and make sure I get it right. So I guess I make a motion for a 2% increase water, 2% sewer, and a 2% on the bulk.
Okay. We have a motion for that. Do we have any discussion questions around that?
Well, I would second that one.
Okay, so we have a second from Mr. Carmichael. So with the second, we can go ahead and vote on that if we're ready to vote. So let me make sure I have, start with Councillor Medina.
Oh, Councillor Medina votes yes.
Okay. Councillor Hutchinson.
Councillor Hutchinson votes yes.
All right. And Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson votes yes.
Mr. Carmichael.
Votes yes.
All right. And Councillor Prachi also votes yes on that. So I think we have new water and sewer rates. The motion passes. Actually, that's not the new rates. It's just a recommendation. So let me clarify. We'll then go up to the council, obviously. So, all right.
Thank you very much.
We have concluded the agenda for this meeting, and it doesn't look like we will need to have a second one. So with that, unless there's anything else for the good of the order, I will go ahead and call it at 7:04 p.m. If you would please note that.